Hey guys, Romie here. Please like, comment, subscribe. What I definitely can say is that this episode of Power pissed me off to no end. I'm upset with almost everyone. I'm upset with almost every single character right now. So we start this thing off with Ghosty trying to get Tariq home because you have to remember that Tariq, he's messed up. He's zoned out of everything. They're on the train. Ghost is like, okay, he's trying to hide the blood that's on Tariq's collar. Tommy sees Grim because he goes to one of the stash places, and Grim's just like, it was Ghost. Ghost did this to us. What? Before Tommy could overreact, Ghost calls him at the right time and says like, look, it's Tariq. I need you to meet me where? Grand Central, whatever. So then Tommy gets there, and Tariq sees Tommy and actually runs to him. Because remember, he didn't run to his father, but he ran to Tommy. And it's like, wait, what's going on? And it's like, it was Kanan. Kanan got him. What? I thought you told me you got... Wait. Tariq go in the car. Okay, Tariq goes in the car, but now Tariq's a little badass. So Tariq rolls down the window, and he's dropping on everything. So Tommy's like, I thought you killed him. No. It's like, oh, that must have been the guy. The guy what? The guy that was holding Tariq for ransom. At first, they thought it was a joke because Tariq played it off. But this whole time, it was Slim. Slim was Kanan, and Ghost is pissed because he never knew about it. Remember, Proctor said, don't tell him because he has too much stuff going on right now. So Tommy has to absorb all of that and absorb the fact that something happened to someone that he actually loves. And there's so many other things going on, but they need to go and coordinate because they need to ask Tariq, so did Dre hook you up with Kanan? Because we know they know each other. And Tariq's just like, no, he came to me. As far as Kanan came to Tariq. So Tariq's lying to protect Dre because right now Tariq doesn't know who he can trust. Oh, boo-hoo! He doesn't know who he can trust. And because he doesn't know who he can trust, he's not even trusting his Uncle Tommy, especially if his Uncle Tommy is working with his father. Now, we see the guys, and Angela. John Mock is just mocking all of them. He's like, well, you know what? I still have my job because I did what I was supposed to do while the rest of you were going and running around like chickens with your heads cut off. So that wasn't my fault. I'm looking at him like, John Mock's going to figure this out. He's not dumb. Now that he's not trying to compete against Proctor, he's going to be the guy that I was hoping would come in and clean up this mess and find out the truth. They're going to try and pivot and put it on Donovan, but that doesn't happen yet. Donovan's the black agent. While all this is going on, back at home, Tariq comes and Tasha's like, oh, excuse me, well, you're going to tell me where you were right now. Tell me where you were, what you were doing. Tariq posted up on his mother. I said, Tariq, back off. Back off. Well, yeah, so were you going to tell me the truth about Sean or not? I said, Tariq, a little respect. Your mother, she's done a lot of things, but nothing directly to you, so stop that mess. And that's your mother. While that's going on, Ghost looks at her and says, yeah, because Kanan had him. Kanan? Yeah, Kanan was the one who took him and did all this mess. So then they go and they have Tariq go and change. Ghost drags Tasha. And when I say drag, I mean just like by the arm, like, hello, I get it. You're zoned out, but we need to talk. So then Ghost proceeds to try and blame all of this on Tasha. Like, oh, wait, so when are you going to tell me that Tariq was kidnapped? Well, Proctor told me not to tell you anything because he wanted to make sure that, your head was clear. So I said, okay, we're on the same page as far as that. But then things take a turn because he was like, you had one job. You're supposed to... I said, wait a minute now. You had one job. Be faithful. And she said the same thing. This isn't my fault because Ghost was trying to pin this on her. I said, oh, that's the thing about freaking Ghost. So then Tasha made sure to let me know, no. This happened because your son was a good boy. He was good. He was nice. But then you were cheating on me with, Valdez, and you slipped your D into that PIB. And that's when all this mess started to happen. And I'm glad she said that, because I said, Ghost, you're not going to go and play this game. But then things take a turn, because then Ghost was like, nah, this whole thing with Kanan, that's not my fault. You're the one, Tasha, that told me to kill Kanan. I said, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute. I thought so Breeze didn't want you to kill. So it was Tasha that did. So then Tasha was definitely the person who called to set Kanan up. What the heck? Really? Tasha, you know better than the rest of them. And I knew that, but this confirms it. You went and wanted Ghost to kill. Oh, God. What is wrong with you? So all that's going on, and Tasha was just like, look, well, it was either he got killed or we got screwed over. So I said the best case scenario. Raina overhears this, so now Raina's at the door, pretends like she didn't hear anything. She's like, oh yeah, so-and-so's downstairs. So it's like, okay, sweetie. And it's like, oh, well, is Dad home? So then she goes, hugs her father. He's like, oh, God, this is baby girl. Again, pretending like everything is cool, fine, copacetic. But now Raina is tainted because she hears for the first time the evil deeds that her parents have done. Not even Reek heard it directly from the source. So her mind's just blown, but she's a good girl. So she's going to go play that part, going to say they're doing this for a reason. They love us and they're doing this for a reason. Just like what you should have been doing, Tariq. But anyway, while all this is going on, here comes Stern. And I love how, Courtney and the writers do this, because they keep the pressure on. You don't get a chance to breathe when it's like a major opening scene. I just said, oh my God, they need a break. But somehow Stern has access to coming upstairs. Normally you're not allowed unless you're on the list. Somehow now he's on the list. I don't know if that was Tasha's fault or whatever, but Stern says, you have to do an interview. An interview for what? Look, we need you to look like a poster child. We need to clean up your image, remember? Oh yeah, we did talk about that. Yeah, that involves you too, Mr. St. Patrick. Excuse me? And the kids. The kids for what? We need to clean up your husband. Emphasis on husband's image. That involves you and your entire family. Tasha was like, wait a minute. My kids have to deal with the paparazzo, and I just can't do that to them. Ghost pretty much said, look, Tasha, we're gonna have to do this because you wanted me to do this, and it was smart, but now I need you to be fully on board like you've been with almost everything else, okay? So she reluctant, she doesn't even say yes. Ghost says, oh yeah, we'll do it. Tommy posts up on Dre like I expected him to, like, all right, so what's going on? What's good? So why didn't you tell me that Kane is still alive? Kane is still alive? I said, damn, Dre. See, the thing is, Dre is believable. That's a problem. Dre will turn into I know nothing, I see nothing punk real fast. And you really feel like, okay, he wants to live. But then again, if you really think about it, you would always think he wants to live, so he's not going to tell me the truth. Anyway, so Dre's pretending like he doesn't know that Kanan is alive, pretending like he didn't go and make contact, be involved with the whole Kanan and Tariq situation, because he just says, no, I didn't do it, I didn't do anything. And again, as far as Tommy knows, because Julio, I guess, didn't leave any markers letting Tommy know about Dre, that Kanan is back and that Andre knows. So Tommy's still going in blind, and Tommy has to let go for now. He has to let go for now, but I wish he just shot him for good measure, because that's how Tommy is. But I guess because Dre is helping with the club and no one else really knows how to do that, they're overlooking things, and it's unfair. So then Dre tries to act like the good guy and say, I was trying to reach Julio and I couldn't get into contact with him. Oh, okay. But this was supposed to be his last known of origin. I mean, his car is here, so track that. I won't ask you how I possibly did that, but I did it, whatever. I'm Dre. That's how we're just going to answer everything. I'm Dre, so this is how this happened. This is how that magically happened. Oh, I was waiting for you so that we can go inside together. Now, spoiler alert, for everyone who was thinking that Julio was still alive, even though I knew he was dead, I mean, I thought it was obvious. I was just trying to be nice. Sometimes I do that. Sometimes I pretend like I don't know what's going on to make people feel better, because I don't have a problem with people saying, oh, you're wrong. I'm like, okay, fine. I know I'm not, but if you want to believe that, Julio is dead. We see his body. It is cold. He's been there long enough to not only bleed out, he's cold. There is no type of pulse, nothing. Nothing. And Tommy, for a moment, he was like, oh, yo. I said, wait a minute, what? I said, wait a minute. Was that some inflection in the voice? Tommy, are you actually upset? I'm shocked. And then he sees the tattoos cut off. So it's like, oh, it was the Taurus Locos. The Taurus Lobos. It was them. It was them because Ghost is no longer a part of this. Now Julio was a target. And Dre is pissed because like, oh my God, I told him not to do that. So now he's going to have to go and play cover up for that. But Tommy wants to go and meet up with Uriel, which is like their connect in between for the Taurus Lobos. And it's like, all right, while that's going on, Dre said, well, you need a new connect, right? You need a new right-hand man, right? Tommy said, dang, you cold. Not even allowing him to have a moment? He's dead, and you're already trying to take his job. Well, life moves on. I said, oh my God, this is why we hate you. This is why we hate you. But Tommy, because he's so flustered, it's like, dang, I do need help. He's like, all right, yeah, you got the job. Go and set up the meeting, and yeah, you got the job. And then he says, yeah, I told you I'd get you, mother effer. When Tommy left, I said, God, let Tommy be behind something overhearing that. But no, I guess not. Now, Mike is talking to, apparently they didn't even leave the office yet. So Mike is talking to Angela, and they're kind of joking around about, oh, how John sucks and all that. Sax is trying to get a conviction regarding Donovan. And right now, well, not yet. They're thinking, oh, it's still Ghost. It's definitely Ghost. As in Jamie, we're going to figure that out. And Angela, we're going to bring you down too once we are able to prove that it's James. I'm thinking, I hope Mike is smart enough to know that that's not going to work anymore. Back at the club, Tommy is there, and Tommy's telling Ghost what happened. And Ghost is just like, oh, well, look, we have other things to worry about. Forget Julito. I said, oh my God, he said Julito. He said Julito. Not even Julio, but Julito. And I thought of Tiffany from the show. And the funny part to all this is that it's really weird. It's weird to me because Ghost, he loves Julio, but because he's more so worried about everything else with his son and Kanan, he can't even have time to really react how he would normally react. Because remember, he did all of this crazy stuff, and I'm just like, oh my God. Oh my God. Tommy lets him know, so when were you going to tell me that you got the recording or knew about the recording of Ruiz wearing the wire? And this was like, so that's why you went and you got arrested in the first place, because you went to go and try to retrieve it and all of that. That's great, Ghost, but you're always doing stuff. You're always doing stuff, and Ghost is just like, look, you're always doing stuff. I'm always having to cover your back, so let's not play these type of games. Let's see. Yeah, so then at the time, Tommy doesn't say that he has the tapes or anything like that. And Sasha is now talking to Raina, trying to let her know, baby girl, we need to stay away from this guy named Kane because he can't be trusted. He's a bad guy. And then Raina's just like, cut the crap. I said, uh-oh. Why are you going and doing all this grandstanding? Because at the end of the day, this makes no sense to me. This makes no sense to me. I know that something's wrong. Where was Tariq? Why are you guys always keeping stuff from me? Stop calling me baby girl. I'm mature. You can tell me stuff. So then Tasha was like, oh, all right. Oh, I don't want this one to rebel too. Kaden is a bad guy. Tariq was hanging out with him, and we had to go and put a stop to that. And we just need for you to, just stay away from him. Be very careful. Make sure that if Tariq's doing anything funny, let us know. And I said, yes, let them know, Raina. Let them know everything. But Raina heard her mother say that's why I wanted you to kill Kanan. So Raina isn't dumb. She's just looking at her mom like, all right, so this is the story we're going to run with? Cool. So she's not going to tell me the truth? Cool. Mike Sandoval is trying to convince John that along with Sachs, that it was Donovan. Look at who was the one that was there at the club. Look at who was there, the one who turned off the security cameras and had time to plant evidence, all that stuff. John's looking at him like, all right, fine, I'll go and look into it, but we're not going to go and just convict someone. We need harder evidence this time. I'm hoping that John, at this time, I'm thinking, John just wants answers. He just wants answers, but he wants to make sure that he's right this time. So he's not going to go and just believe everything someone tells him this time around. Angela meets up with Jerry, the black agent, Agent Donovan, and lets him know that, here's the thing, Jerry. It's not Jamie. It's not Jamie, but we need to figure things out. The gun, if the gun isn't his, you must have quit. And it could have been planted. I just need for you to go and look at the surveillance, look at it in detail, and let me know what you think, and get the evidence to me. He said, first of all, I have a family to support. He said, I do too, but I want to find Greg's killer regardless. I said, oh God, Angela, you're always getting these men in trouble. Always. So why would they want to help you? Why? But Jerry's thinking things over and realizing, maybe this isn't so clear-cut after all. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Tasha goes and meets up with Terry, and again, I said no, because Tasha and Terry, again, are getting close. They didn't do anything in this sitting because Tasha just wanted to know, is the interview a good idea? Do I really need to do this? Yeah, you absolutely do. You need to repair your husband's image, and it helps you out because he's not out of the woods. He could still be implicated for something else, so we need to make sure his image is as squeaky clean as possible. So he needs to still play the game, at least for now. And Tasha's just like, okay, I appreciate it, but if anything happens, will you be our lawyer again? No, I can't do that. I don't like your husband that much. Yeah, but I need you. So then Terry's like, I'll be there, and I almost threw up. I almost threw up. True up. Not even threw up. True up. Now, Ghost is talking to Proctor, and this is where we get more details about Homeland and the fact that Tommy killed Bailey and wanted to take the recordings, but what do you call it? Proctor has them. That portion didn't come out yet. Actually, it did. And James is just so over it. He tells him, scrub. Make sure that there's no evidence left. Because it's like, oh, Proctor's not a lawyer anymore. He's a loose end. He's a liability. We can't kill him because he's too involved in all this. But dang it, if the opportunity presents itself, almost anyone can get it at this point in time. Because they can't use him again. That's the thing. But we also, in that moment, see that Ghost and Tommy still don't fully trust each other because Tommy made sure not to tell Ghost about it. Now, Tommy is going and he's with the Toros Lobos, and they're trying to convince him, Urel is trying to convince him that, oh, this guy over here, yeah, it was him. It was all his doing. Tommy's like, this square, this punk, this Julio was a boss. Even though I kind of pushed him around, Julio wasn't no punk. This guy's a punk. How can a punk be a non-punk? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Well, he did it, and, retribution, blood for blood. He said, you know what? You're right. Shoots him, and then turns a gun, and you're out like, here's how this goes. I don't believe you. I want territory. Julio's dead, which means I'm down to connect, which means that I need to be financially compensated for all of this. What you're going to do is you're going to give me my territory. I can't promise you that. Fine. Then I'll go and talk to the people who are able to do that for me, the Jimenez. So I'll go and talk to them, and you set that up, all right? Here goes Dre saying, what are you guys doing? Why did you go make it look like you guys actually did it? It's like, what? You told me that Tommy would be cool. He would have been if you didn't go and do all of that. So then there's this guy named Marcus that was working under the Jimenez, and apparently his wife was an informant, and the Jimenez found out, Diego and Alicia, and they're the leaders of the Toros Lobos, and they were not playing. They strolled into his place while he was doing a line. Now, mind you, the way how it was done, it was beautiful. I looked at this like, oh my God, this is art. He put it out how they kept transitioning from once it was laid out to him getting what he needs, snorted, and they snorted it so perfectly. I said, oh my god, this show's corrupting me. What's going on here? Now again, they know that his wife is the informant. He's been sniffing the product, so he hasn't even paid attention to everything that's been going on. They say, all right, we're going to kill you, but we're going to technically have you do it yourself. So they have him snort so much blow that he overdoses instantly. Within 30 seconds, he overdosed because he kept doing line after line after line after line. He did like 3 lines and did a 4th one and couldn't finish it, and he died. Blood was dripping out. I said, oh my god. Oh my god. But then that was part 1 because we heard a baby crying in the background. Alicia went to go and get the baby, and then his wife was going crazy, shot her in the head. So she's dead. That's 2. The blood spatter hit the baby on the forehead. I said, oh my god. What is wrong with these people? Now they had silencers, so the baby didn't really hear it and didn't really know what was going on. I was just looking at this like, so now they're going to take your baby and raise her as their own. What type of mess is that? And all because you wanted to snitch, even though you're willing to be bad guys in the first place. What? So now that was to introduce us to the Jimenez and that they don't play around and that Tommy might have met his match. John sees Sax, and John is trying to figure out, okay, Sax, so I have some questions for you. Why were you talking to Bailey? You're trying to go and implicate Donovan, but maybe it's you. Why were you going talking to Bailey, and why can't I get into contact with Bailey now? I said, oh god, here we go. Now Bailey's body is going to be nowhere to be found, and now it's going to be another thing where he was pretty secretive, so he could have went undercover. It's possible, but not likely. But now Sax, he's like, oh, he's scared because maybe eyes are going to be turned on to him. Next thing we know, it's the interview, and they're asking Ghost about, James, I should say, about everything that's been going on. And the interviewer, Olivia, she's asking him, so how was it about your trial and all that? James said, here's how this goes. I was found not guilty. They didn't have enough evidence to convict or really to send to trial, so that's why I was released. So it wasn't because Agent Valdez put in a good word for me. It was because of the fact that their evidence wasn't there. They didn't do their jobs to see in the first place that I was innocent. Oh, and she said, okay, that's cute and all, but Tasha, how does it feel knowing that the woman who was your husband was cheating on you with helped get him off? How do you feel about that? Well, here's how this goes. But Tasha, before you actually talk about that, where's your wedding ring? If you're saying that everything's all hunky-dory. Well, she looked at Terry, and then Tasha went into boss mode. I sold the ring. I had to sell it because we went on hard times, and we needed to pay our excellent lawyers. So that's why I did that. But James, he's a good man. Here's the truth of the matter. He was going through a hard time, and let's see. Oh, okay. So James, he came clean, and I admired him for telling me the whole truth. Tasha was dying inside as she was saying all of this, and it wasn't all of his fault because I stopped believing in his dreams. But I want our family to come together. I want us to be a unit again, and we deserve that. Raina looking like, yeah, I don't believe this. Reek looking like, I'm high enough to go along with this. Yep. Yaz looking like, oh Lord, why am I here? They didn't tell me I had to do such a long scene today. It's a mess. So then Donovan goes over to, Angela's place because he's like, look, at first, I thought you were on some BS, but then I looked into it, and there's something you have to see. It's really sketch, super sketch. And she invites him in. Dre is then talking to Tariq, and Tariq's just like, cut the mess. I know Kanan is slim and all that mess, but did my father send Kane to jail? Because here's the thing, like I told you guys, Tariq doesn't like his father so much, or hates the fact that everyone around him lies so much, that at least Kanan was telling him the truth up until that point, and he's still kind of messed up due to drugs and everything else, that he's not thinking clearly. He's not thinking rationally, and he's a teenager, so he's definitely not thinking clearly. Because of all of that, now it looks like he's actually willing to still be friends with Kanan and work with Kanan rather than his family, because at least Kanan was being real. And at least Dre, he didn't sell Dre out because it's like, look, I wanted to know the truth from you. And that's why I didn't do it. It wasn't because, oh, I like you, we're buddy-buddy. I just needed to make sure to know, was Kanan telling the truth? When he said my father sent him to jail, it's like, well, okay, yeah. Did my Uncle Tommy know? No. What about my mom? So now, this all confirms the fact that, because he was just like, I get it. My father, they killed Breeze, they put Kanan in jail, and they wanted to take over. Breeze was the connecting queens, and all that mess. So he knows it all. You can't lie to him anymore. He's just too involved with this. Tommy goes, and I'm just so irked. So Tommy goes and meets up with the Jimenez, and he thought the Jimenez were brothers. I don't know why, but he's like, no, brother and sister. And they're Uriel is trying to go and act like, well, you know, Julio was a punk, so that's why it doesn't matter if he's killed or not. Tommy's saying, here's the full details. We paid for Julio, and we gave you some territory as well. Julio is dead, so we need to be repaid. Like, regardless of if he's dead or not, we need to be repaid. And it's like, wait a minute, I don't understand. What's the problem? Ghost was no longer a part of your organization, so why is it that you want repayment? And then Tommy delivers this crazy line that I just love so much. So then, Tommy is just like, look, this doesn't make any sense. When, what was it, Dave Thomas died, you didn't see Ron McDonald roll to the nearest Wendy's. They looked at him like, excuse me, what? What are you talking about? And what Tommy was trying to say is that Dave Thomas, he was actually the founder of Wendy's. So it's the whole concept of, well, Ronald McDonald didn't go over to Wendy's and say, what's good? Oh, yeah, your founder's dead. What's good? And that's the whole thing with Ghost. If Ghost was the main head honcho there, now he was out of the picture. Why are people rolling up to them and taking out, cutting out deals that were originally good and all of that? I know some people are like, what is he talking about? And I said, oh my, I got the reference instantly and I was dying. That's something where if you didn't know what he was talking about and who Dave Thomas was, you couldn't appreciate that in the moment. So I was dying. I said, thank you, God, for business classes, because that's the only reason why I know. The only reason. But then they were like, well, the thing with Lobos, because then Lobos' name came up, and Tommy was like, wait a minute, you guys are acting like I didn't do you a favor. They're like, what are you talking about? I'm the one who went and killed Lobos. Now we know it was him and Ghost, but we're not trying to implicate Ghost, so we'll say, yeah, Tommy. I'm the one that killed Lobos, and you guys thought he died in jail. No, you guys missed. It was me that killed him, and there was the reason why that you guys are now in charge of all of Mexico. Mexico is your entire territory. You're welcome, by the way. So then they're looking at him like, oh, we didn't know that. So he said, yeah, I want money, I want territory. I'm going to be expanding as well into newer markets like LA, it's California. It's going to be lit. I'm going to have the West Coast on lockdown. Dre's looking like, what's going on? I didn't know all this. I didn't know this about Lobos or the territories or any of this. So now Dre, the wheels are turning, and I'm looking at him like, oh my God, Tommy, you need to get him. You need to dead him now. You need to dead him now. Tariq goes and he's mixing up the lean. He's getting high off his mind. He's playing the video games. He's just like, and James comes in, wants to talk to Tariq, and Tariq is just like, okay, that's great and all, but Tariq wants to know the real James, wants to know who his father is, wants to know if, did you guys kill people Kanan said that you killed people, all of that, and James was like, Kanan is a liar. Don't ever trust him. I want you to come for dinner, and that's all. So he completely deflects, and Tariq is pissed because it's just like, at this point, what does that do? You lying to me when all these people are telling me other things, it's not helping your case anymore. So just tell me. Just tell me. Now, does Tariq really need to know? Of course not. A little badass. But this is a very weird situation. This isn't a traditional regular situation. So I felt like in that moment, maybe telling him wasn't the worst thing. So then we have Tariq, what do you call it? We have Tasha. She's having a date night with Terry, because that's what it really was. She was out with his friends having a good old time. I'm saying, where is Keisha? Where is Keisha right now? But that's fine. Keisha was starting to irk me for a moment, so let her live somewhere else. Mike Sandoval, Tasha goes and sings one of Whitney Houston's songs. And I was like, okay, is she gonna? No. I was waiting for that, but they cut right to that. I said, how you gonna cut for the best part? Really? But I know Tasha was loving that. I know Notori was like, oh, a moment where I get to sing? Okay, let's go. Let's go. And Mike trying to convince John again that, yeah, it was definitely Donovan. You need to make sure you look at this and look at that. And I didn't see Donovan for most of the time we were in the club, but I at least kind of knew where Sax was. But then John realized, oh, so you're also telling me that you don't have much of an alibi yourself. That's what because John isn't dumb. Like I told you guys, John isn't dumb. So he's reading through everything that Mike is saying. So he's looking at him like, something's not right here. But yeah, I'll go and ask him in for questioning. You might be next. You just don't know it. And then we see that Terry and Tasha have a moment. Tasha is just like, you know what? I thought you told me that I need to do stuff to make sure that I kept my marriage together and kept it for the image and all of that. And they were joking around how, oh, well, girl, you can sing. Well, I heard you can sing too. So I guess maybe in another life we could have done a duet, been like a group. Well, what, like BB and CeCe Winans? She said, no, we're not like brother and sister. No. And she was like, oh, we're not brother and sister? They go and kiss. And then he says, you know what, maybe I need to take you home. It's like, okay. I'm thinking, God, Tasha. So that was part one. Part two is the next day when Ghost goes. He replaces her ring because he was so happy how she did all that for him, how she's still his ride or die. And he appreciated that so much. He said, you need that ring though, because we're going to have to fool a lot of investors. So that was the other part to it. And Tasha's, she's so conflicted. She's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. I cannot. What you can't and should be doing is either of them. Your husband is trash. And so is Terry. Terry was representing your husband. There's so much conflict of interest, but that's what you like. You like that. You like being a part of some type of mess, Tasha. You do. Especially after finding out you wanted to get Kanan killed. You do. You love this mess. So we're moving on from that, because Ghost even kissed her. I'd look at Tasha like, Tasha, pick a side, and make sure neither of them are on it. Ghost meets up with this Leonard guy, and Leonard wants them to invest in this hospital in Manhattan because he figures, oh crap, is this thing about to die? He figures that if I do that with you, oh yeah, that business loan not only will get approved, the tax cuts, all of that. Ghost is all about Queens, but here comes Simon looking at him like, look, we need to do what's right for the greater good, and the greater good is what's good for my pockets. And I'm looking at Simon like, you are such trash and you don't even know it. Why would this man really want to work with you? Reek is talking to Tommy, and Reek wants answers. Reek wants a lot of answers, and no one's giving it to him. So then hold on guys, I need to put. Yeah, so sorry about that, guys. I had to plug my camera in. Now, Reek wants answers, so he goes to one of the very few people that will give him somewhat honesty. Uncle Tommy, did you know that, what do you call it? My father put Kane in jail? Oh no, honestly, you could tell that Tommy was trying to see how to play it, but then he said no. I had no idea about that. So Reed's just like, okay, well, at least I can trust him to tell me that. But the other issue was Reed wanted to hear from Tommy. Kanan said that you guys used to kill people in the past. So is that true? Did you guys go around Queens selling drugs and killing people? And Tommy didn't say no. What he said was Kanan's a bad guy. He can't be trusted. But you need to talk to your father if you want to, learn the other things that happened in our past. And I'm thinking, oh my God. Oh my God. I'm starting to get a little irked and irritated because Tariq is slipping. Now, normally, yes, you would deny, deny, deny. But this kid, this is probably the one of the very few kids that you just need to tell the truth. You just need to tell him because it's not helping. Lying to him at this point isn't helping. Ghost is talking to Olivia, the woman who did the interview, and she said, no, I'm going to find my story, my real story, because that little act that you were doing was cute, but it didn't fool me. I know that you and your wife are estranged. I could tell that she doesn't love you anymore. And I'm looking at this like, well, maybe you need to go away. We know that, but we don't need anyone else messing this up. So be quiet. Go away. Here comes Lorenz Tate's character, Richard Tate, Councilman Richard Tate from Queens, comes over. So she leaves. And he said, my brother, I'm so thankful that God delivered you out of the enslavement of the judicial system. Praise him. That's essentially how he was coming off. And Ghost was appreciating it. It was like, oh my God, thank you. Someone black and showing some type of kindness to me. I really need this right now because everyone else ain't ish to me. Ain't ish. So Councilman Tate, I guess forget changing the last name, pretty much said, I want you to work with me. I'm hearing that you're working with Leonard and Simon Stern and Leonard. And people like him, he's this type of person where he might be doing this just for a tax break, for a business opportunity. There's some really cool properties in Queens that I'm thinking of working on myself. I would love to have you in on it. So what do you think? Do you want to go and work with me on that? It's like, well, no, just keep your options open. Take my card. Now remember, in this show, whenever someone takes someone's card, they always end up calling. So we know that there's going to be a division. Now, the deal it doesn't involve Leonard that Ghost has with Simon. He can work with anyone else, but we'll learn why Simon doesn't want that. Raina pops in on Tariq doing more lean, and Tariq's trying to hide it. And Raina's just like, what are you doing? What's going on? Tariq's saying, Dad's a liar. So is Tommy. So is Mom. Why you believe all of them? And she's like, oh, is that why? I did overhear Mom saying that she wanted Dad to go and kill Kanan a while ago, but I didn't know why. And she's like, yeah, they're all liars. What's wrong with you? And she said, look, we can go away. We need to make sure that we look good for Dad. Why? Because if he goes to jail, dum-dum, we won't be rich anymore. We'll lose the penthouse. We'll lose everything. So you really want to lose all that? We can go away to a private school where no one knows us in Connecticut and just have a normal life. He said, why do I want to be around a lot of rich, spoiled brats? Why do I want to go and do that? It's such a square. Go away from me. And so then she said, what's wrong with you? You've been acting out. You've been being really stupid. You're not going to go and ruin things, get us in trouble. So then she goes and pushes him. So then he goes, shoves her. I said, we're not doing this today. We're not doing this today. Because Raina's, the inflection got higher in her voice. So she wasn't playing around. This is where I said, oh my God, if Raina dies because of dumb Tariq doing something and she gets caught in the crossfire, I'm going to be pissed. I'm not going to be done, but I'm going to be pissed. And I feel like something like that's going to happen. It's almost inevitable. And it's irking me. It's irking me to no end. So then Tasha sees, that whole scene pissed me off. I said, Raina, at this point, I know you're not about that life, but you could uppercut him. Because Tariq was going in and out. His eyes were super dilated. And he was just like, what? He's just stupid. I said, I know your brother acts weird, but you should be able to even tell that something's really off with him. But then Terry sees Tasha, and he sees that ring. He says, oh, that ring is beautiful, I guess. Still married. She said, wait, no, it's not like that. And then here comes Simon Stern trying to figure out where James is. James is right behind him. So Tasha goes and leaves. Simon's trying to tell James, you can't work with Tate because he's uncontrollable, he's unwieldy. I don't, I like Leonard. He's someone safe. He's someone I can manage. James looked at him and said, look, you're a silent partner, which means I'm the face, I'm the brand. I'm the one who really makes the decisions here. If I want to go and work with Councilman Tate, that's who I'll work with. I said, thank you, James. That's your way of getting out of this. But now, we see Mike Sandoval. Again, why do all these people live in places where there aren't cameras? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where are the cameras in these apartment places that these so-called Asians are supposed to be living at? What's going on here? Because he has the gun out, ready to go and shoot Donovan. Donovan isn't home. Donovan's kids are. And just like, oh, so his daughter opens the door and said, oh, I didn't realize that he had custody this weekend. It's like, yeah, but where's your father? Oh, he's not here. He's out. And it's like, oh, okay. But do you want to come in or no? Do you want me to tell him that I said, oh, like, what's going on? Because she knows him. And my thing is, I used to live in New York. First of all, I was never, ever left alone when I lived in New York. That was one. The other half of that was, even after moving, I never opened the door for a stranger, even for people that I necessarily knew, unless my mom was like, this person is coming. There was no such thing as pop-ups. I did not just let people into the house. That never happened. So regardless of if it's New York, which for obvious reasons, that never happened. Dude, you're a child. Why are you opening the door for a stranger when the parent's not there? That pissed me off. So then he's hiding the guns. He's like, no, I'll leave. Donovan is reviewing the surveillance with Angela, and they realize, oh my God, Mike Sandoval was the one that was going upstairs to the office. So maybe he's the leak, but they don't have enough evidence yet. They just have enough to be suspicious. Here comes Sachs knocking on Angela's door saying, you know what? I know you don't like me, but I really think that it's Donovan. And Mike gave me some information that was really compelling to think that it was Donovan who did this. When Angela creaked that door open to show that Donovan was in there, Sachs was like, oh, hey, Donovan, did you hear all that? Yeah. Come in, idiot. We have something to show you. Trash. Such trash. So then Tasha is feeling a certain way. She goes over to Terry's house because apparently she knows where he lives. And, which, again, when did all this happen? I don't know. She said, you know what? I always thought to myself after seeing you, what would have happened if I never met Terry? And this kind of reminds me of a moment when in Empire when Cookie was thinking of her goody two-shoes ex-boyfriend who was going to be a doctor, but instead she went with Lucius, and she was always thinking, what if I went with Barry instead of Lucius, instead of Walter? So then they embrace, they kiss, they have this really long sex scene. I said, wait a minute, what is going on? I said it was well done. It was hypothetically beautiful, black love, but it was trash because it was those two. That's why it was trash. So now Ghost has to go and play mind games. He's trying to play mind games with Tommy and have Tommy look like, excuse me, Tommy, what's good? Why didn't you tell me that you went and killed Agent Bailey, Secret Agent Bailey, and then you had Proctor clean it up, and Proctor is the one who still had the tapes? Why would you go and do something like that? He told me that they were destroyed, but are you stupid or are you dumb? You realize that Proctor, he's not our lawyer anymore, so now he could try and get some leverage over us if anything ever happens. But you let him have that. But here's this phone. While I was in jail, I went and kind of killed someone. Yeah, I killed the guy, the security guard who was messing with me, and then Teresi helped me clean it up, so I owe him one. He wanted to go and give you a call. I don't know why, but take the call. It's already preset. Just press the number and everything will go through. But James was trying to make sure that Tommy felt bad and felt like he really messed up and that James had to go and smooth things over with Proctor, even though he already talked to Proctor. And this is where the manipulative side of James really comes in and shines through. And that's why I always, give James a side eye like, dude, really? 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 But then, so then that happens because he wants to make sure that Tommy stays under control. That's his whole thing, and Tommy does what he wants him to do. That's what it always goes back to. Now, John goes and meets Proctor outside of his apartment building, and he's saying, you know what, I know that no one's innocent that you've been representing. I can't prove it yet, but I'll eventually be able to prove it. Here's how this goes. I could help you out so that you're not implicated, but you need to go and work with me. Proctor said, dude, work with these nuts. Work with these nuts. There's nothing for me to hide. Proctor looks defeated, though. He definitely looks defeated because he can't even work right now, so he's not bringing in much of an income. It's a good thing he was making a lot when he was working with Ghost. But, yo, I'm hoping that Ghost overheard that conversation because next thing we know, when, John's car left, we saw Ghost was in the alleyway doing his signature ghosting of being there, being seen without being seen. I said, oh my God, Ghost, don't overreact. Don't overreact. Just breathe. Just breathe. I hope you heard what he was actually saying. So then Tommy, he's smoking a blunt. He's in his car. He's real comfortable. He calls up Teresi, and Teresi says, knock, knock, who's there? How's my wife? She looks sick, but whatever. We'll get to the point. Tommy, I'm not going to tell you this. I'm your father. Just like I've been telling you guys ever since I saw Teresi. I knew it. You couldn't tell me different. Those cute people think, people actually thought that was Holly's father. Come on now. So then to prove it, he says, because Tommy's thinking that his father was dead. He said, Kate, yeah, it was Kate's decision to not have you in my life because Kate didn't want me anywhere near you, of course, because of his profession. And even though Tommy ended up being involved anyway, Lord, Tommy was destined to be a part of this lifestyle. Oh my God, I feel bad because Tommy was literally born for this. He was born and bred for this. And he even puts a nail in the coffin. Well, you know, I met your mother at Tropics in Atlantic City. I mean, she was like 8 feet tall with them long legs. And I always had a thing for redheads. And it's hitting all the marks that Tommy, because Tommy loves the redheads. Tommy likes women that kind of looks like his mom. Creepy, I know. And he said, you know, we have a lot to talk about. Because Tommy was still smoking when Teresi said, oh, I'm your father. Like, forget out of here. But when he was saying all that other stuff, now that made Tommy think, oh my God, this man. So he said, I want to see you. I want to talk to you more. But I know I can't do this right now. Just don't forget, you know, keep the phone close. Oh God. I did like how that ended though. I'm glad that we at least got that. Because Tommy was shook. Tommy wasn't ready for that. It's like he lost Holly, but he's possibly gaining another family. Oh my God, what if Tommy gains this other family and then this is his way of distancing himself from Ghost? Because remember, Jason was telling him that he needs to slowly distance himself from Ghost. But he didn't do that yet because he's still in and loves the family so much. Power was good as always. Please like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you think.